We have Darcy Greco. Hi, girl. Haven't seen you in a while. To our podcast palace right there with the lovely and talented Tony Gaud. This is going to be fun.
Okay, so la. Love them, but it's like the whole city is asleep when you're out there, and it's such the middle of the night morning.
There's no distractions.
It's just peaceful, and I feel like I don't know. Some people talk about like almost like a muse type situation where you can just like tap into that, and for me, it's when everything is still.
Now, broadcasting live from the Podcast Palace on Park Street in beautiful and dangerous Clearwater, Florida, it's the Comedians on Cork podcast. And now, here are your hosts, Tony Gaud and Pat Largo.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Comedians on Cork podcast. We are your humble hosts, Mr. Tony Gaud right here. My name is Pat Largo, and we're going to have another great guest on very, very soon, but let's take care of business and get that out of the way. We can't do this without the one and only Julie Drolshagen of Century 21. She is our studio sponsor, and anything you need, whether it's buying, selling, or anything in between, real estate-wise, she will hook you up. 727-902-9233 is a number, or FloridaBeachBusiness.com.
FloridaBeachBusiness.com.
Thank you so much, Julie Drolshagen of Century 21. One more time, 727-902-9233. And Tony, I'm so glad we have our next guest on, and I'll let you take it away because there's so many interesting things about this person. Let's do it.
Yes, we have a great guest today. Today on the show is Darcy Greco. She is a comedian. She is an author. She is an athlete.
In the leastest sense of all of those words, actually.
She is halfway accomplished there.
I'm definitely halfway.
So welcome to the show, Darcy Greco. How are you?
Thank you, guys. This is
Thanks for
super
coming
fun.
Cool.
Yes.
For now.
For now, yeah, we'll see. Let's see how this goes.
So far, so good. First minute's going really well.
Yeah, jacked.
But you have huge fans on Spotify, only from the first 90 seconds of the show.
Perfect.
They love the intro.
Yeah, that's all I got.
But no, if you want to kick it off, I'm happy to. I've learned a couple things about Darcy. I've only worked with you a couple of times doing comedy shows.
Yeah.
And when Tony said we got Darcy booked, I'm like, sweet. And then he goes, yeah, we're going to talk to her about her book and stuff. And I'm like, book. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't know about you that I really don't know about you. So I can't wait to learn more.
It's a full life.
Yeah, I'm still learning too.
Well, what do you got going on right now with the comedy? You got any shows?
I have some stuff at Snappers coming up. I'm excited about. I'll be hosting,
Cool.
so that's gonna be good.
I'll let people know Snappers is Palm Harbor, Florida.
Yes.
So a really
Thank
great
you.
venue here in Florida.
You tell them every week.
I do. I know.
It's so
They don't
good
pay me.
though.
Pat's home club. He's gonna say it again.
One more time.
I'm not going to say anything about Snappers in Palm Harbor.
So you went through their program, right? Like they have a hosting.
Yes, I got to get certified. I have like a certificate. It's my
Did
first
you?
comedy. It's signed and everything.
You got a certificate.
I have a certificate. I'm
I
official.
never got any certificate for comedy.
I don't even have a certificate from like high school, I don't think, but this is probably more valuable than my high school, so this is good actually.
So this is a really big deal.
This is a big deal.
It was true. I was there.
Yeah.
And it was great to see everyone getting their certificates.
Yeah.
So do you know who you're hosting for? Like you got your first thing?
Right now it is actually for an open mic, so it's super important.
Okay, cool.
Gonna find all the new talent
Those are the
on a
levels.
Tuesday night, so I'm sure it's
Well,
rowdy.
speaking of the open micers,
yes.
Since
That
that's
is
gonna
my
be
level.
Well,
so
so this is something that you're dealing with this now. You're familiar with it. You're going to be hosting. What's a couple of tips for an open micer that you would give them?
stay on time. I would say, when you're trying to cram in like everything so funny, don't overthink it. Just stick to the 5 minute. Everyone's trying to like get their material practiced and worked through. So I would say probably try to.
So that's the biggest.
No, I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's like, the first one that popped in my head.
All right,
That's all I
good.
got.
So now we know exactly what's the first thing on your mind when you get on stage.
Well, the first thing,
It's-
yeah, I mean,
and
like
you're
saving
subconscious.
time for other people.
You're
Like, definitely
subconscious,
always
like-
conscious of other people's
Wow,
time.
okay.
So
That's great.
probably
So,
that.
hello
Yeah.
everyone, meet the unselfish Darcy Greco.
Yeah. Also, I don't want to go over and be the biggest bore in the room because I can do that in under 5 minutes. So I don't need longer.
So that's a good tip. Stay on time.
Yeah, stay
Very
on
good.
time.
Very cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's hard to do. It sounds great. When people go, you got 5 minutes. You go, oh, yeah. We're going to light you in 4
Yeah.
minutes. I don't need a light. And then 8 minutes later,
Yeah.
you just got to yank the mic out of there.
Well, and it's weird too because if it's new material, it's not like you've necessarily nailed down your times yet.
Yeah.
So, I love a light because I have no idea where I am sometimes if we're adding a tag or like, you think maybe something's really funny, you're gonna get a really hard laugh, and then that usually
Yeah, that's
doesn't
true.
happen.
You don't account for that
at the
amount of
mic.
time. You really
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
You don't think about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot,
Oh, yeah.
right?
It is.
Audience laughter, if anyone's talking, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Where, when did comedy become like a thing for you? Like, when did you first start getting into this?
I was writing for my novel that I was working on at the time.
A novel.
And it's really dark. It's like a suspense, psychological thriller. It's pretty intense. And I have always loved comedy, so I would write it. Even like back in high school, I would like write out random bits. And then in the locker room at trade school, they have cigarette breaks, and we didn't smoke cigarettes. So I would like do a bit while everyone went out on their cigarette break for my girlfriend and I, and just like
Wow.
do something.
Okay.
So that's where it started. But I never like thought you really do it for a living. I don't know anybody. I didn't know that was like a thing. So when I was writing for the novel I was working on, it would just get really dark, and I was like, I just need a break for my own like mental health.
Yeah.
And I would just again like call up a friend, or we'd be out, and I would like kind of run it through, and they're like, when are you really gonna do this? Like, you
So
really
you're calling you
should.
out.
So
Wow.
it was more or less like a dare, like most good friends and problems start with dares, I think.
Well, can I just want to back up for a minute. Locker room and trade school.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
You could be a mechanic? What were you doing?
Exactly, right? I was,
Woodworks?
yes, that's actually one of my things. I was never special, gifted. I was special, though.
You went to
I went to hair school,
which you do?
which is what I do. So because of that, I've been licensed for a wildly long time. This is my 19th year actually licensed doing hair, and I am very
Wait a
young,
minute.
as you can tell.
19?
Yes.
Seriously?
19.
Yeah, and then,
Wait a minute. Wait,
Yes.
You said so. You started writing jokes.
but I never did comedy for real.
So
I
this
mean,
is like
just
20
like
years in the making.
no, it was like
So
just pretend land for like a long time, and
you
then
don't want to put it in years, do you?
it's
No.
not
You
years.
could
It
say-
was like totally nothing.
What if
I'm
it
not
was
a
like
real
19
anything.
Years? So
What?
Of hair, of doing hair.
You started writing.
Oh, I would just
19
like,
years ago?
little like spoofy things. Like
What year
nothing.
did you graduate grade school?
03, which is, I actually
That's
got my.
19 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, so I
So
actually
18 plus-
graduated
Wow, okay.
before, from hair school before my high school because I graduated.
Wow.
I had my hours done before high school. So I graduated in June, but hair I think I was done in like April.
Now,
Really?
where was this at? This is up north?
New York, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I was licensed up there, and then I've worked down here in Florida, and I'm at Salon Belladonna. I've been there for
I was going to say, yeah, our Florida
A minute.
education system doesn't allow for that much
time.
ability.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, you're going to school and school?
Yeah, I've always done like 19 things at one time. That's like my entire life, basically.
Jesus.
But I've been at this salon. I've been at now for 17 years this year, which is
Wow.
like at
That's
this point I'm just
awesome.
like one of the termites.
Congratulations.
Holding hands,
It's just
keeping
fun
the
to meet
building up.
someone who actually has a goal and job and stuff.
Well, the
It's
goal
I know
is
My
not-
friends are. I'm just.
It's aloof of a goal. But
Well,
yeah.
what I noticed is that everything that you're doing and everything that you've been doing and that you've done it all centers around being creative.
Yes.
You know, Now, were you creative? Was that something you did as a child? Were you like creative like that, or doing things like that, or was this something that came later?
Probably. I mean, I'm
Awesome.
dyslexic, so everything is
Oh,
I
wow.
creatively read, I creatively write. It's all whatever I create and
Wow.
imagine. It's
Doesn't
everything's
have to be-
backwards
Doesn't have
per
to be
se.
spelled right.
When did you first find that out? Like when did you know?
Second grade was when I had a tutor officially who was like, I think there's a problem.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so I
So you're like Tom Cruise.
oh yeah,
Wow.
just like a minus Scientology
Same
and all.
height?
Yeah, I'm Catholic, so it's like the
Same
same
height,
thing.
yeah. Maybe a little
Same
taller.
height.
Yeah.
I like to pick things that don't get picked on, like Catholics. Nothing like Scientology. Yeah. So I don't know. I love. I'm not good at it, but I love like drawing. I'm always like sketching little doodles for my kids. Right now, I'm always like class mom in my kids' classrooms. I just this morning put the door up. We're in a competition. It's for a party like pizza day, so I get pretty competitive. I'm hoping we win.
Okay.
I just learned what that is.
What that
Like
is?
a class mom.
Yes.
I just learned that by watching a sitcom,
Oh, really? What is it?
Man with a Plan.
I'm woman without the plan, but
Because he had to be
the class mom.
dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is?
It's a big thing. There's a lot of responsibilities. I mean, the email list is. I always like to sister wife it. So I always have another mom that I go tag team with. There's a lot of things. I'm not good at like the email part, like the formals. I just like to build things.
But you're responsible for children?
I don't know, like my own barely probably trust me, but they let me in there all the time.
You had a question about
It's
about,
full part is right.
yeah, the kids. Like we were talking about that earlier. Like how are your kids responding? Do
Yeah.
they know about the comedy?
They
or-
do. They tell me jokes all the time. They're like, you can use this. I'm like,
They're right for her.
I
I
probably
wonder-
might work better than what I got, so you never can tell.
Does your husband contribute? Does he give you jokes or material?
Oh God,
Or
no.
does he tell you not to? It's like, let's
Yeah.
take that one out.
I think he just like tunes me out more with it. Like he's
Probably the right thing
that's
to
a
do.
cute thing you're playing right now. That's a nice thing. I do hair and makeup for a living. He's like, that's a good game too. Like no, he's super great. I'm just kidding. We've been together actually longer than I've been at the salon. So
Okay.
we've been together for just over 17 years.
So this is like since high school. Or
Well, I
that
moved
time?
after high school. After I was in New York, and then a year after, and then I moved. So I was 19. So I met him. He's 20. He's
Yeah.
Cool.
a year and a half older. So light
Older
years.
guys.
Half the
Way
year he's
right,
like
too.
2 years. He's my antique friend.
Alright,
But
so-
kind of guy.
Now I want to get into the
Oh,
other
gosh.
creative part.
Yes. Oh,
Your
this is gonna be
writing,
great.
and
all the dyslexia.
I have pulled up a couple of reviews, so I want to read them.
Oh dear God.
This is about your book, okay? One More Iris, which is available on Amazon.
Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart.
So this is hardback.
It's
And you
it's
can
just
download.
paperback, but yes,
Paperback.
physical, and then there's ebook, and then any month now I may be getting to turn it into a Audible style, but
Wow.
hopefully we'll see. One
Can
of
I
these
voice it?
days.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, if I just need to record it. You guys want to record it? It'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
great. Let me
So I
know.
want to read these reviews. This is a novel, okay? This is Darcy's book. I love this author's writing. She kept me wanting to read more. I start books and never finish them. I put this down several times and found myself picking it back up until I finished it. I really hope she is inspired to write another. We'll ask about that. My circle of friends are wanting to read it next. We have decided to start a book club, starting with this book, One More Iris by Darcy Greco. Such a great read. I love her writing. At the end of the book, it really made it profound.
Wow.
Wow. So, to that point on that first review, are you planning on writing some more?
Yes. Ugh, I hate myself.
Cool. All right.
It's a very painful process.
Is it going to be like, is this in correlation with this book, or is it a series?
Sort of, yes. It's not exactly like it's going to be parallel timelines. So I love first person narratives because it's really like juicy and deep, and you just get like really psyche in there. So Iris is the main character in the first book. One more Iris, so the next one will be, it's kind of based her best friend. So Iris will be in it, but it's like all the stories are very much
So you've
totally
already
different.
started outlining this?
Yeah, I've started it. It's
Yeah.
taking a couple hard turns
Okay.
right now, so it's getting reworked, but it's
So here's
in the
another
process.
one.
Good. All right, here we go.
As a first-time author, I am blown away by her talent. My only question is, why did it take her so long to decide to write? I couldn't put the book down, and I'm very hopeful that she will continue to write. Loved every bit of this book. I would highly recommend anyone who is struggling with addiction or knows someone struggling will read this book. Wow.
That's
That's
really,
fun.
really awesome.
Yay.
Touching
Yeah.
lives.
So
Oh.
you are. You're changing people. You're making people better.
All right, here.
I'm basically
And
AA.
here goes another one. A novel that holds your attention
Awesome
and won't
author.
let go. The courageous truth that we only truly deceive ourselves.
Wow.
This, or the not so hidden truth. Wow.
That was by someone
So-
like Zach.
So I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
First, how much of this is about you?
Ah,
It's a funny question.
It's not that funny.
I
Well,
wasn't
I think
laughing.
it was that
I
funny.
didn't-
It's
very
it's
serious.
She has a
interesting,
weird sense of
funny.
humor.
Yeah, I have a very dark sense of humor.
I ribald.
It's a lot of it is, imaginary, and unfortunately, a lot of it isn't.
So some of it's coming from
It's
your
from,
history.
yeah. So it's funny. One time I heard this thing that if you write like a biography, everyone will nitpick apart to be like, this isn't real, or this was exaggerated, or this isn't true. But if you write something and you say it's not true, they're going to be like, all of this is real. And I always find that fascinating. A lot of the stories are very much real stories that I've either gone through or I've watched family and friends go through. And the main character is written as if she is the one with addiction. I don't know why, but I am not an addict. I have so many factors to be.
You know people that have been addicts?
Yes, very much so. And so, I mean, based on, they say with addiction, it's like genetics or circumstances that you would end up having addiction. And I have all the factors, but I'm just not. But I feel, because I've been in such close proximity my whole life with so many of them, that I really wanted to write it more from the addict's perspective. But almost in a vulnerable, I think people always wonder, this person had everything. How could they end up,
Yeah.
losing all this stuff? And, it's because that bar that lowers slowly over time. And so I really wanted to write it from that scale of, this is how it happens. This is how you can actually have everything and nothing at all.
So this is a good lesson.
Yeah. Or hopefully. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Ideally.
obviously affecting people the way. I mean, is that kind of the way you wanted it to affect people?
Yeah.
So it's doing. They started a book club.
Great. I love reading, but I mean,
Isn't that amazing? What
It
you
really
did,
is
and
cool.
however long it took you to finally say, I'm going to do this, you did this, and people they're not just going, yeah, that was pretty cool, and moving on. You're like creating stuff for people. So I guess my question is, do you want to be an addict?
do I don't. I can play an addict if I need to, but no, I do not want to be an addict. I have lots of.
I have a real one. If down the road you're doing your comedy, and obviously I'm going to say right now, a successful author, because from what I'm seeing, and I want to read the book, by the way. If I knew how to read, that's Pasco.
Same.
Pasco County Education right there. I'm
Yeah.
kidding, Pasco.
Got an audio. Coming.
Get you my.
I do, yeah. I know, that's why I can't voice it. How am I supposed to read the script? If you had to choose down the road, comedy or writing or author, what do you think? For the rest of your life, you go, okay, I could pick this one and perhaps do good. I could pick this one and perhaps do good here. You got one, comedy or being an author.
I don't know. I mean, I like writing because it allows me to be home whenever I want and can be with my kids, and that's lovely, sleeping in and getting up in the morning, doing all my normal things. But I feel like I've never felt the connection to any group of people the way I do with comedians. Like, I just love the whole thing. I feel like we're
Right.
all like so kind of weird in our own ways, and it's like refreshing because we all just get each other, and it's.
Or do you feel like you're getting?
I feel like I'm more.
With it, or?
I don't know if I'm ever balanced.
Well,
but
you
that's
know.
a good.
Okay.
That's a struggle. But I mean, I don't know. I think like sometimes I end up writing too deep into the novel, and it's like it like can suck you in, and it can go really dark, you know. And so I do write comedy dark sometimes, but like I love being able to pull myself back out with like, okay,
Well,
let's laugh about it. Like
Well,
it's
is
just
there-
too much.
I mean,
Yeah.
So
It's
is there
hard,
like
I don't know.
What's the process for your writing? Like when you're, is there a difference between when you're writing the novel and the comedy, and how does that?
It's hard to switch them back and forth sometimes, like because one, you have to be really real and vulnerable, and then in comedy you can be whatever you want. I mean, you can write like from real things and just like spoof it up. You can regurgitate something out weird. You can completely go opposite of your own real opinion. You could make your own opinion. You can just play whatever devil's advocate you want, and it's just in the nature of humor and making everyone. To me, when I write comedy, it's like I love when people just have that moment where they're like, "Oh my God, I've done that," or "I've thought that," or "Oh my God, I can't believe we really do that," and just accept it as the norm. Like, why
Yeah,
do
they
we do
relate
that?
to it,
Yes,
it's like they're connected.
yeah, it's instant gratification. With a novel, I mean, this took me forever, not writing every day because I don't have that luxury, not even every week for that matter.
How long did it
Yeah, I
take
was just
you?
gonna say,
long
how-
did it take?
Like 5 years, to be honest. But it's like I don't even have like sometimes months will go and I don't get to write
Yeah.
because my schedule is so crazy. I started writing it when I had a newborn, for one. So I started writing when she would wake up in the middle of the night. I have like 10, sometimes like little bits of like insomnia. So I just have a hard time going back to sleep. So I'm like, well, let's utilize this weird, wild time of 2 a.m. Let's
Use
figure it
that
out.
time.
So I would
Well,
just.
I was gonna say, do you find that is there a certain writing time, or do you find yourself could be even though you're forced up at 2 a.m. because of a crying baby? Do you find to be a fun time to write for a half hour or an hour
It
at
is.
2 in the morning?
I do. I mean, I love like there's no one awake, and I don't even mean just in the house necessarily. Like, I've actually long before comedy, I run with a group that run at 4:15 a.m. And they do it because that's the time their schedules allocate for them to do it. I don't know why. I need to get new friends, but I
Yeah.
love them. But it's like the whole city is asleep
Yeah.
when you're out there, and it's such the middle of the night morning.
There's no distractions.
It's just peaceful, and I feel like I don't know. Some people talk about like almost like a muse type situation where you can just like tap into that, and for me, it's when everything is still. It
Yeah.
just
That's
feels
how I am when I like
right?
screenwriting and
Yes,
stuff.
I know,
Early
'cause
in
I
the
know-
morning, yeah. So-
Yeah, it's like it's just available.
Yeah, it's like you don't have the sounds of the day. You don't have traffic, cars,
Yeah.
or anything like that. Everything's quiet. You just like focus.
Exactly.
You can focus.
And it's like
Your
there's
mind's at ease.
there's times where you're like, okay, I kind of need to work on this to this, like, okay, or I need these things to happen in this scene, and then you get writing, and when you're in that kind of zone, it's like sometimes you're like, oh my God, I had no idea she was gonna say that, and you're like, it's just wild. You're like, I can't believe you did this, and it's really, it's like, how do you not know you're the one writing it? It's like almost like outer body experience, right? Like,
Yes.
it's very
You can't
interesting.
predict it. Yeah.
And those are like the best scenes when you didn't, if I didn't make it, it's way better than what I could have made. And like yet it's you, like either pen, paper, or type, or depending on what part you're at. But it's just a cool,
Like just discovering.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: like now, who are you reading that influences you with your writing?
I mean, I don't necessarily. Well,
Or are you saying there's an author that you would be similar to as far as like how?
oh, in my dreams, I'd be similar to people. And I don't know. I can't even like think of myself like that. I think
Well,
more
who do
like
you read? Who do you
I
read?
read a lot of like memoir. Actually, I read a lot of like well, not really fiction. Like, I don't know. I like any type of self-help stuff, actually. I love,
Okay.
like,
All right.
history. Once in a while, I'll jump and read, like, something. You know, I do like suspense. I like psychological thrillers, I find
Okay.
very
good.
interesting. But I've always been told that you should try to read things you don't necessarily read or enjoy that much, to try to, like, when you're reading for your technique, because it helps broaden your horizon. So, like, I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but I might pick up a sci-fi book if I'm, like, in a weird spot, because it just you're able to, like, look at the writing style of it, and it just changes
You probably
the
look at it a little
dialogue
bit
or
more-
something, and you're like,
Yeah.
huh, that's so
It's a
interesting how they
different
flowed that.
perspective, yeah,
It's
like-
easier to see when you're not enjoying the story so much,
Yeah.
because it's
It's
like
more
you're
technical.
in it. Yeah.
I'm not going to be absorbed by this story, but
Yeah, I
Right.
could care
Love
less
your
where they're going,
technique.
but
Great
listen how
technique.
beautiful this sentence structure is. Like, oh my God, it's like poetry or something. It's cool. Like,
Now, is there a certain genre, like not just really author, but is there a certain genre that you really get into, so to speak?
I mean, I definitely do like
I think you were saying
psychological
psycho-
thrillers.
Is that your main one that you kind of gravitate to?
Yeah, and then like I know it's like, super nerdy, but I'm like, you know, basic. I don't know if I can curse. I won't. But
Whatever
I was gonna say, like, I'm just
No
like a basic
censorship.
bitch kind of level of, like, I like how to be, you know, mom better, how to, you know, how to write better, like
Okay.
Cool.
authors
So you
on
always
writing.
it's always about improvement.
Yeah, I like even, you know, comedians like have books. I read the books that are like not necessarily for jokes. It's like
Yeah.
their story or something. Like, I just find that part very
Right.
cool.
Any good comics books that people should read?
I don't
that
know if
you've
they're
read?
good, but I mean, no, no. I
Start
mean,
your own.
no, no. I mean, well, comics. I mean, I don't know. Like, one of my, well, like, Stephen King has On Writing, which is not obviously a comedian, but like his Stephen King On Writing is
Yeah.
a phenomenal book. It's nothing to do with any of the books.
Yeah.
It's not his style, but it's all about his story, and even like
Talks about
being in the kitchen when he got the call that, like, you know, they sort of wanted it for real, and he has like a nail above his headboard with all the rejection slips, and it got so heavy he had to put up another nail, and like just all the rejection slips, like stuff like that I find like super fascinating.
Yeah.
And I think comedians, you know, we all for the most part suck in the beginning. Even the good ones will tell you, like, or you hear their stories, you know, like how people turned them away from it, or maybe like, you shouldn't
Yeah.
do this
Somebody tries to
again.
tell you not to do it.
Yeah.
Have somebody ever told you that? Or
Well, yeah, I mean, I am dyslexic, so like reading and writing is not really something I'm supposed to be
Not
doing
supposed to
at
excel
all.
at this.
They're like, yeah, just send her to hair school. We'll let her pass.
You see, and that's a point. See, and that right there, dyslexia, which is not like it's not like it's contagious or anything. She wouldn't be sitting as close
Yeah,
as she
I am.
was.
6
But
feet.
Yeah.
but
If you have dyslexia.
The OCD is contagious, I think.
but like she said, she's not really writing and doing a novel is not something that she should be doing. But she has one out right now, which is amazing. So you've gone, you know, it's not like it's a disability, but you've gone above that what you have.
That's a disability.
And is it really a disability?
I get extra time on tests and stuff.
Dyslexia?
It's like I said,
No,
disability.
I mean, we get like it. I mean, I get like, you know,
Oh, I mean, yeah, you.
I can have my test read to
You
me.
get
Right
more
on.
time.
Oh, okay. That's really
I'll probably
cool.
mix it up.
So,
Answer the question wrong just because I read it wrong.
all right.
I read it as a good book. You should read it.
So we're gonna get out of here, but before we do, would you have another?
I just have one last one if you don't mind. Where in
I'm
like
gonna get one after that.
you want to do? Okay, well then with you.
Let's do it.
If you don't mind. All right, this should
No,
be
that's
it
okay.
shouldn't be bad. Where
Unless you're dyslexic, then you probably hear me first.
Yeah,
and then me.
I'll just answer in whatever order I feel like
Yeah.
it hits me.
We'll do it in post.
We'll fix
Where do you see yourself, whether it's in entertainment, hairdressing, whatever, in another, let's say, 5 years? Where do you see Darcy Greco?
I mean, hopefully still like getting to do like some hosting positions, and definitely around the local scene. As far as comedy, and I would probably do hair till I die. All my clients will pull me right out of the grave if I even try. But I mean, my kids are still young, and I don't want to be like a degenerate mom. I love being there with them so much. So one day when they're like older, maybe I could like travel a little bit with it. That would be super cool. But I just kind of want to hopefully keep laughing and having other people like laugh, and especially moms, if they get to get a night out, it's always fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things we have to do
All right, cool.
in life.
Well, we wish you good luck on that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Here's a final question.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
For the readers out there.
I'm out.
What's the name of the next book?
One more time.
One more time. I like it.
Man.
So we're going with the one more thing,
Yes.
everybody.
Yeah.
One more time. I guess, where are you going to go after that?
Well, then hopefully I won't be writing about any of these
One more
stories
time.
anymore.
How about one
Maybe-
last time?
Yeah. One time before. It's just like a sequel of trilogies of trilogies.
Awesome.
All right.
Oh my God, that's
Think
very
of
good.
that.
And one more time, what is the name of your book again, Darcy?
One more iris.
One More Iris
Yes.
out now.
And we'll
Yes.
have the links in the description so you can follow Darcy and pick up the book and check it out, and let us know what you think about in the comments.
Very cool. Darcy Greco, thank you so much for being a part of our podcast today.
Thank you guys. This is super fun.
This is good, and we'll definitely come. Well, the next book you have come out, we'll definitely have you back in and promote that, and just hang out and talk. Okay.
Well, in 10 years, like we talked about.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Great.
It'll be perfect time.
Guys, thank you so much for checking out the Comedians Uncorked podcast. Again, thank you so much, Julie Drolshagen, for letting us be in this beautiful studio right here at the Podcast Palace on Park Street in beautiful Clearwater, Florida. Again, you can reach Julie. Century 21 at 727-902-9233, FloridaBeachBusiness.com. Again, you are listening to Darcy Greco. Get her on social media and get us.
And it's a light.
That's right, we got to wrap it up. Get us at social media at comediansuncorked.com. We'll see you next time. For Tony Gaud, I'm Pat Largo. Have a good one.